So thank you very much. So you may scan the QR code. If you can see my screen, you can scan the QR code for your attendance. And we will start shortly.
Try renewal. So.
All right. Please take your time, about 2 minutes, to confirm your attendance by scanning the QR code. All right, thank you very much for everyone for joining. So good morning and so I'll be recording this meeting for today. So good morning and assalamualaikum for everyone, and thank you for your participation for today. For business accelerated talk on ESG. So we have our collaborating participant for the ESG talk, which is Sirim Berhad. So first and foremost, I would like to introduce the Regional Operation Division for Central Region USAC, the team. Mr. With our Regional Operation Division, Mr. Hafiz Karamuddin, and our Vice President, Madam Sakina Ramli, and the Agriculture and Wholesale Representative, which is Mr. Faiz Saumi, and also Miss Zulaika Zari. So a little bit intro about ESG talk for today. ESG stands for Environmental, Social and Governance, and it is a set of criteria used to evaluate a company or organization impact and behaviors in these three key areas. So ESG, sorry, guys, please mute your. Okay. So ESG, and it is a set of criteria used to evaluate a company or organization impact and behavior in these three key areas. ESG has become increasingly important in the business and investment world as a way to access a company's stability and ethical practices. Okay, so I would like to present our Head of Department of Regional Operation Division, which is Mr. Hafiz Kamaruddin, to give us a welcoming remark speech to all of us for today's event.
Hi. Sorry, 1 minute. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Morning everyone. Dengar ke suara? Okay, so first thing first, thank you Nadia for inviting me to give this the welcoming speech. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I have some problem with my camera. I cannot open the camera. However, I believe if everyone hear my voice clearly, it's supposed to be good enough lah. So first thing first, I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you today. We are here to discuss what we call a significant topic of the day lah. However, what important thing is what HRD Corp is our team HRD Corp plan to do for today lah. What we call the business accelerated talk, which I think one of our initiative to share the latest information, which later we drive the training culture among the employers. And as for today, the topic is very focused on ESG, which I believe is important things as needed by all the business nowadays. And we have I believe we have a pre-on speaker from Sirim Puan Nageswari. Also, I would like to address my sincere thanks to Puan Nages because to spend your time and sharing your knowledge on the topic. ESG is not an acronym. It represents a fundamental shift in how we evaluate the impact and behavior of the company and organizations. And it signifies a commitment to sustainability, ethical practice, responsibility, governance. And it reflects our collective responsibility to the environment, our communities and each other. More on ESG, I believe our speaker will explain more thoroughly because she is the expert. However, again and again, I would like to welcome to these important discussions where we will dive into the topic. And yes, it's supposed to be for the good of your business as well. And last and not least, thank you for being here. And please enjoy the sessions and make a difference in future. Thank you, and back to Nadia.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hafez, for the welcoming remarks. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, which is Ms. Nageswari S. Iyampilai, and I would like to extend my gratitude that she will be willing to become our speaker for today, which is Mrs. Nageswari is a senior consultant with more than 25 years of diverse experience in national and international standardized activities for sectors related to quality and environmental management system. This experience encompasses the management of committees both nationally and internationally, methodology of drafting of technical documents, and consultancy in issues related to conformity assessment and trade. In reference to ESG, she was involved as the technical secretary for CRIM 50/2021 on social accountability, project committee member for CRIM 55/2023 ESG management system, and member of eco-labeling type 1 and type 3 documents. As of 1st of February 2023, based on her exposure and expertise, she has been appointed as the ESG coordinator for CRIM SDS Sdn Bhd. So, welcome, Mrs. Nageswari, and go to you for your presentation for today. You may continue.
Okay, thank you, Nadia, for the kind introduction. So let me share my slide. Okay, so a very good morning to distinguished guests and to all participants of today's webinar. So as mentioned by Puan Nadia, my name is Nageswari S. Iyampilai. I am a senior consultant attached with the management systems section of CRIM SDS Sdn Bhd. So today, generally, I will touch on the environmental, social, and governance as an overview, so that many of you will be, hopefully after this presentation, you'll be a bit more knowledgeable in terms of what each of the pillars, whether it's environmental pillar, social, or governance, in terms of how to do your own internal and external issues with regards to ESG. So without further ado, let me proceed to my next slide. So in this slide, today I would like to also take an opportunity to introduce my organization, which is Sdn Bhd. So as you know, 1st of September 1996, CRIM, which was previously known as Standards and Industrial Research Institute of Malaysia, was corporatized as a government-owned company. So as a government-owned company, or GOC, CRIM is wholly owned by Ministry of Finance Incorporated. However, with regards to its functional duties, CRIM is an agency under the purview of Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. So as for our mission, SIRIM provides quality and sustainable innovation to three main parties, that is the industry, government, and also the society. So in terms of industry, SIRIM assists in the enhancement of trade access, competitiveness, and also business growth. Whereas in the aspect of government, SIRIM contributes towards the national policies and also its aspiration. At the society front, SIRIM improves quality of life through health, safety, environment, and also consumer protection. So, with regards to our mission and our vision, so SIRIM, in order to fulfill our objectives, SIRIM as a parent company has established 5 subsidiaries, as you can see in the slide. So the first subsidiary is SIRIM QAS International. So SIRIM QAS International is for quality assurance services. SIRIM STS Sdn Bhd, which from where I'm coming from, it's on standards and training services. SIRIM Calibration, as its name states, is for calibration purposes. We have SIRIM STV for business commercialization, and sorry about that. And the last or the fifth subsidiary is SIRIM NPT for National Precision Tooling. So aside from the 5 subsidiaries, SIRIM also has under it a statutory arm where we have 2 organizations. The first is on Natural Meteorology Institute of Malaysia, which is responsible for physical standards such as time, temperature, and weight. And the second one is Malaysian Design Council on design matters such as innovative design products. Okay. So just to elaborate further a bit on SIRIM STS Sdn Bhd. So as you all know, in the previous slide, it is one of the 5 subsidiaries of SIRIM Bhd. SIRIM STS was established in the year 1997, and the core activities of SIRIM STS is on training and consultancy services, and it was certified under ISO 9001:2015 by SAI Global. As for our own products, SIRIM STS have introduced products or services with regards to SIRIM recognition program, best practices, SIRIM industry standards. This I have highlighted because today I will be sharing with you 2 SIRIM industry standards that are related to environmental, social, and governance. So the first one will be SIRIM 55 and the second one will be SIRIM 50. And the third product that we own is on SIRIM personal certification programs. Aside from that, SIRIM STS is also an approved training provider for JAKIM, for MSPO, for Welding Society, DOSH, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now let's get down to my presentation for today. So I will start off by explaining what is ESG is all about, and then I will touch on the ESG factors and impacts based on the sectors that I was requested to present on, and also conclude with on the benefits of ESG. Okay, when we talk about ESG, I think by now all of us know the E stands for environmental, S for social, and G for governance. So basically, ESG is a framework that ensures or manages that business of your organization is carried out in a sustainable and reasonable manner. And aside from that, ESG, even though it is a non-financial performance indicator, it is used by investors to determine the performance and also at the same time to monitor your organization with regards to these 3 pillars, that is the environmental, social, and governance. So basically, when we are talking about ESG, when we look at environmental, we are looking at how a company or an organization implements its environmental stewardship. In other words, what is the activities or processes that the organization or company is carrying out in relation to climate matters? How responsible is the company with regards to consumption and production? And also in terms of taking care of the biodiversity, the flora and fauna. When we look into the aspect of social, this is mostly related on human matters. So here we are looking at internal and external. Of course, when we are talking about internal stakeholders, we are looking at your own employees. External will be your suppliers, your customers, and also the community where your company or organization operates. That means the ecosystem where you are located. And then the third one on governance it is how a company operates. So in terms of operation of the company, what are the policies that you have in place? What are the internal controls? This can be in reference to your procedures, your working instruction, your objectives, your policies, and so on and so forth. And also the willingness of your organization to engage in the ESG practices. So in this slide, I will be sharing with you some of the environmental, social, and governance criteria or factors. But please bear in mind the listing for each of the three pillars is inexhaustive. That means this is just to give you an idea. When you talk about environmental, what are the criteria or factors that most probably as an organization you need to ponder about. But it could differ from organization to another organization based on the various sectors, based on your business models, based on your policies and business ethics. So when we are talking about environmental, we are looking at greenhouse gas emissions because basically, as you all know, that climate change issues are of paramount at this moment because we see a lot of impact due to climate change like forest fire, flooding, dry seasons, drought in certain areas, and also climate change has also an impact on our food security. Okay, next, energy consumption. How efficient is your organization with regards to energy consumption? Is the energy used, is it all fossil energy or are you incorporating some renewable energy? Water scarcity, how you manage your water, whether you recycle your water or do you use rainwater and what are the ways you manage your waste, water waste. Waste management is also your scheduled waste, your effluent from that is being discharged from your organization due to your practices or your manufacturing processes. And then, of course, biodiversity loss. When we talk about social, it is basically on how we treat the people, it is more on human rights issues. So here we are talking about discrimination, freedom of association, health and safety, wages, child labor, forced or compulsory labor, disciplinary practices, and also working hours. So one of the standards that was developed under the Serum Industry Standard that is fully funded by Serum Berhad is Serum 50. So this document is on social accountability requirements and it was published in the year 2021. So in these standards, all these 8 elements of human rights are already mentioned in that document. And then the third pillar on governance, we are talking about corporate governance. We are also looking at risk management, how your industry manages your internal and external issues. Compliance obligation, this is related to the law, rules, and regulation. So whether it is on environmental aspect or social aspect, or even governance, each of these three pillars have its respective law, rules, and regulation which you need to comply to. Ethical business practices, integrity, and transparency. Okay, moving on. So this in this slide, I'm trying to explain or provide information with what are the external push factor with regards to why organization needs to go towards the ESG journey. So as you all know, in the year 2015, Sustainable Development Goals was launched, and it is to conclude 7 years from now, which is in the year 2030. So Sustainable Development Goals consist of 17 goals. So each of the goals, they have 169 targets and around 230 indicators. But however, these Sustainable Development Goals does not provide the methodology on how to meet the targets or the indicators. So this division of SDG across the three pillars are based on how you can do your mapping to meet the indicators stipulated in the related SDG goals. So as you can see, some of the goals, that is goal number 9 and goal number 12, is present across all the three pillars. So goal number 9 is on industry, innovation, and infrastructure, whereas goal number 12 is on responsible consumption and production. So this is, there is no need for an organization to comply to all the 17 goals. So the ownership is with the organization to determine, based on your processes that you are carrying out within your organization, to determine which goals is of relevance to you. And then you have to zoom down into which are the indicators and targets that will be appropriate to your organization in your journey to meet your environmental, social, and governance aspiration. Okay, that was at the international level. So now if we look at the national initiatives that has been provided by Malaysian government. So first we start off with the Shared Prosperity Vision, or SPV, that was announced in the year 2019, and it is also concluding around the same time as SDG 2030. So this SPV, or Shared Prosperity Vision, the implementation of its objectives is already incorporated in the 12th Malaysian Plan. So there are three main development dimensions mentioned in SPV. One is economic empowerment, 2 is environmental sustainability, and 3 on social re-engineering. So ultimately, SPV 2030 is focusing on equitability of outcome. Next, we have the National Anti-Corruption Plan, which was also introduced the same time as SPV in the year 2019, and this concludes end of this year, 2030, focusing on anti-corruption. So National Anti-Corruption Plan is under the purview of Institute Integrity Malaysia, IIM, to oversee the initiatives undertaken by all government agencies and private institutions to deal with problem of corruption, integrity, and governance. So 12th Malaysian Plan, in the 12th Malaysian Plan, Malaysia has pledged to become a carbon neutral country by the year 2050. So this is to portray the country's commitment in dealing with climate change issues, and at the same time to attract foreign investment into the country. The Nationally Determined Contribution, NDC, is introduced to reduce the economic-wide GHG emission intensity of 45% by the year 2030. With regards to energy, we have two aspects here. One is the Renewable Energy Roadmap, 2021 and also the National Energy Policy 2022. Here, the targets are set for renewable energy by 31% in the year 2025 and subsequently by 40% in the year 2035. And then, not forgetting, we also have Malaysia, together with the other world leaders, have adopted the Sustainable Development Goal 2030 agenda by the United Nations in the year 2015. So, as I mentioned earlier, there are 17 goals under this SDG. Besides that, the government of Malaysia has also introduced green technology financing scheme to support the development of green technology in Malaysia. So basically, these are some of the within the country push factor towards going for ESG. Okay, so now let us take a look at the organizational ESG landscape. So as I've mentioned in the previous slide, so when we talk about environmental, social or governance, we have to look at the ESG factors. So again, this is just to guide you as an example, but again, this is not same for all organizations. Even organizations within the same sector of industry do not have the same ESG factors because it differs on your business models or the technology that you are using in the manufacturing of that same product. So it differs. So it is again the ownership of the organization to determine what are the environmental, social and governance factors that will be of relevance to your organization. So just to give you an idea, when we talk of environment, we are looking at climate, pollution, deforestation, energy consumption, and also waste generation. For social, we are looking on the human factor, forced labor, community, where you are located, health and safety issues. If you are in a construction sector, this is of paramount to your employees, discrimination and modern slavery. For governance, we are looking at your organization's business ethics, your corruption, whether you have an anti-corruption policy or whistleblowing policy, and the transparency in regards to your procurement activities and your procedures, your working instructions, and all that. Okay, so once we have, as an organization, you have already identified the relevant environmental, social, and governance factors. Then you have to move on to identify what are the impacts. So if we are talking about climate change or pollution or deforestation, some of the key impacts will be on air, water, land pollution, global warming. So if we are talking about social, you have an high impact on health and safety matters, then the impact will be in terms of incident and injury. And then if you are having forced labor, especially for foreign workers or modern slavery, then you are talking about reputation. For governance, if you have you don't have a proper anti-corruption procedure in place with regards to your business ethics, there are some issues. Then you are also talking about reputation, loss of market share, and collusion and bribery. So once you have taken a look at your ESG factors and impacts, so as an organization, you have to react to reduce this impact. So what the organization needs to do is you need to strategize, practice, and build a culture for ESG to manage the associated impact. So maybe not all of the impact you can remove immediately. Maybe some you need to mitigate first, then subsequently you have a mitigation plan to finally maybe reduce it to a smaller level. And then, of course, when you have carried out all these activities, it is important to disclose your ESG performance in terms of data. So only when you disclose or you communicate your ESG data, then only your stakeholders will know what is being carried out by your organization and where your organization stands with regards to environmental, social, and governance. Okay, so now, as I mentioned earlier, I was given a few sectors: agricultural, wholesale, retail, and also service. So again, what you can see in this slide is just for guidance only. It's not necessary that these are the things that will be of relevance to your organization. So as a guidance, these are the things for environmental for the agriculture sector. So basically, when you want to determine what is your environmental, social, or governance factors, what are the impact and the indicators, first and foremost, you need to carry out stakeholder engagement. So you need to have a stakeholder engagement. Internal will be your employees, external will be your customers, your suppliers, your community where you reside on. So by getting all those information, then when you do the mapping process, then you can see which are the factors that is of priority to you, of importance to you. And then based on that, you have to shortlist them and then look at what are the impacts and what are the indicators. So here in this slide, I have put one of the environmental factors for the agriculture sector is on climate change. So this is on the impact will be on emission, which is the greenhouse gas emission and also pollutants. And of course, the indicators will be the quantification of your scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emission. So scope 1 is direct emission, whereas scope 2 and scope 3 are indirect emission. So scope 1 is related within the four walls of your organization. For example, the vehicles that your organization owns, your air conditioning, so that will be scope 1. Scope 2 will be indirect. This is focusing on purchased electricity. And scope 3 will be your indirect also, but this one is much more bigger. It will encompass your upstream and downstream. So out of these three scopes, scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emission, with regards to the impact, majority of it comes from scope 3 emission. Next environmental factor is biodiversity. So in terms of agriculture, whether it's palm oil or rubber plantation, the impact will be on how you use the land use. So here the indicators will be total loss in terrestrial biodiversity or the total amount of habitat destruction or deforestation. So you have to get data on this. And then aside from that, you have water and effluents. So the impact will be water withdrawn, whether it's from the ground or surface, and the indicators will be total amount of water used to irrigate the land. Okay, and how much of this water is also recycled would be a good indicator. Waste, it also depends on the type of waste generated from the agricultural sector. It can be organic, inorganic, or hazardous. So here the indicators will be total amount of waste generated, how much of it ends up in the landfill, how much of it is diverted from the landfill. And also in agricultural sector, there will be you'll be using pesticides and fertilizer. So how much of it is being washed away into the rivers in the water system. So this need to also be quantified. Okay, for retail, wholesale, and services, all these three I have lumped up together. So basically, it is on the downstream of the supply chain. So here again, the climate change is still applicable, your greenhouse gas emission and pollutants. Again, you need to look at scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Water and effluents, water management. Here you can look at the total volume of water that was used, and the total volume of water or effluent that was discharged. Energy consumption, here is on how the organization manages its energy. What is the total energy consumed, and then from this total energy consumed, what percentage is from the grid versus the renewable energy. And then last one will be on waste. Again, you can be looking at organic or inorganic waste depending on your type of services that you provide. So here again, the indicator will be total amount of waste, how much of it is going to the landfill, how much of it is being diverted, that means recycled or reused. And then in terms of materials that are being used for packaging. So what is the weight and volume of the materials, and these materials, what is the percentage of it, the material, whether they are recycled materials or virgin materials. So these are with regards to waste management. So when we talk about social, I did not break it up into the factors because basically it's applicable no matter what sector your organization is in, because this is based on human factors, it's based on your employees, and also so basically the common or general way of looking at social factor, you can use the DEI, where D stands for diversity, E for equity, and I for inclusion. So when we talk about diversity, we are looking at the presence of differences with regards to gender, male and female, with regards to race, religion, and also physical disability. So the indicators will be a percentage of employees by gender for a particular category of employment, percentage of employees by race, or also could be in terms of percentage of employee by disability. Okay. For equity, this is with regards to employment practices of your organization, whether you practice a fair, impartial, and provide equal outcome. So here the indicators that can reflect the employment practices would be, for example, would be your wages, whether there's a gender gap in terms of your wages payment for the same employee category, working hours, health and safety. And then the third one, inclusion, is the sense of belonging, appreciated. So here, to counter whether your employees are happy to come to work and you are retaining most of your employees, there's low turnover, so that your bottom line of your organization is not affected. The indicators will be your employee retention, accessibility facilities, and also training in how you care for your employees to upscale their competency and to ensure that your organization's employees are still up to date with your processes. So the third pillar on governance is also, it doesn't matter which sector you are from. So with regards to governance, of course, we are looking at ethical behavior, whether the impact will be on good governance. The indicators will be legal obligation. So here, legal obligation, not in terms of governance only, but also on environmental and social law, rules and regulation. Your anti-bribery policy or procedure, whether it's in place, whistleblowing, and also transparency. And then the other factor with regards to governance will be your management system. What are your internal processes? The impact will be towards your internal processes. So to indicate this will be the policies, your procedures or standards. Maybe as an organization, you are certified to management system standards. For example, ISO 14001 for environmental management system, or ISO 45001 for occupational safety and health, or even ISO 37001 for anti-bribery management system. So the indicators will be what are the procedures you have, in place, what are the standards you are making reference to. And also now, as you can see, more and more company are going towards online or digital processes where their information are managed or kept in the cloud or server. So the aspect or the indicator with regards to data security is of importance. So these are again some of the examples for you to think about or ponder about, but ultimately you as an organization need to do due diligence to determine what are the relevant factors, the impacts and indicators that is appropriate to your day-to-day operations. Moving on, in this slide, with regards to Sirim Berhad, so these are some of the services that Sirim Berhad as a whole can provide related to environmental, social and governance. So Sirim can provide a 360 degrees solution with regards to ESG. So one of the main services that is coming from Sirim SDS Sdn Bhd, as I mentioned, is training and consultancy. So we provide training and consultancy on ESG implementation, on ESG reporting, and we also develop standards like Sirim 55, which I will explain in a few minutes, and also Sirim 50 with regards to social aspect. Aside from that, we also can carry out carbon quantification, whether it is at the organizational level or product level. Certification and verification is provided by our subsidiary Sirim US International Sdn Bhd. So they can provide certification like the Sirim 55, which I will explain shortly, is certifiable document, and same goes for Sirim 50 on social accountability. And aside from that, Sirim US has already started providing verification of sustainability report based on reporting frameworks such as GRI, Global Reporting Initiative. So we also can provide for project or product development in terms of circular design. And aside from that, we also can do energy audit. We can measure where are the areas that the organization can improve to exercise energy efficiency through energy audit, and thus ensuring that you have saving measures in place. So in terms of ESG related standards, I would like to start off with environmental first. So under environmental, listed here is product criteria document and product category rules. So product criteria document is based on ISO 14024. So this document is a type 1 document for Sirim eco-labeling scheme. So this Sirim eco-labeling scheme is operated by Sirim QAS. And this product criteria document is based on multiple criteria, and it is on life cycle consideration, cradle to grave. And it is applicable to both product and also services. Okay, the next we have is product category rules. This document is developed based on ISO 14067. So again, this product carbon footprint certification scheme, type 3, is operated by Sirim QS International Sdn Bhd. And to date, we have published around 20 documents for both products and services. For eco-labeling type 1, we have published to date around 93 documents. So the benefits of being certified to either to type 1 or type 3, that upon your certification, you can proceed to get your product or services recognized under My Hijau recognition scheme. So the benefit of getting your products or services recognized under My Hijau scheme is that your products and services can be listed in the My Hijau directory, and this will be the products or services that will be referred 2 or will be given the first priority when it comes to green government procurement or green private procurement. Aside from that, your product and services, you can also get some incentives like green investment tax allowance or green income tax exemption. So these are some of the benefits that you can get for your product or services if you go for these two type 1 and type 3 certification scheme. Aside from that, under environment, the other standards that you can use as a reference or then later on if you want to can go for certification is ISO 14001 on environmental management system, ISO 14064 Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 is for organizational carbon footprint, whereas Part 2 is for project carbon footprint. And we also have ISO 50001 Energy Management System. So all of these ISO standards, CRIM can provide training, consultancy, and also certification. For the social, we have CRIM 50/2021 on social accountability. So this document is a CRIM industry standard, the only one thus far in Malaysia on social accountability. The development of CRIM 50 was based on ISO 26000 on social responsibility and also SA 8000 on social accountability. So these two documents are the reference documents during the development of CRIM 50, and this document was published in the year 2021. So it is again organizations who like to proclaim that their organization is socially accountable can make reference to this document, and you can also, if you want to take an additional step, you can get your organization certified to CRIM 50. So aside from that, under social, since we are talking about health and safety issues, we have ISO 45001 on occupational health and safety management systems. So again, CRIM can provide training, consultancy, and certification based on this standard. So now moving on, if we look at governance, so listed here are 4 standards. So the first one, ISO 37001 for anti-bribery management system, ABMS, ISO 22301 on business continuity management, ISO 37301 for compliance management system, and the last one, ISO IC 27001 on information security management system. So for all of these standards, we can provide training, consultancy, and also certification. So the standard that covers all the 3 pillar in one document is CRIM 55/2023. So this document is on management, ESG management systems with requirements and guidance for use. So this document is also a certifiable document by CRIM QS. So I will talk a bit in detail on this document later on. Okay. So now let's take a look at CRIM 55/2023. So this document was just launched in last month, and it has 2 main objectives. One, it specifies requirements for ESG management, and also at the same time it also provides guidance on how to implement and improve your ESG practices within an organization. So this document has an annex, an informative annex for some of the main clauses mentioned in this standard for users of this document to understand further what needs to be done when you are trying to meet the requirements of the clauses. So we provide some kind of guidance to the users of the standard. So for CRIM 55, there is a total of 8 clauses in the document. Clauses 1 to 3 provides background information of the standard. So clause 1 is on scope. So it mainly specifies the coverage or boundary of the document, CRIM 55 itself, where it starts and where it ends. Clause 2 is on normative references. This is a list of other documents, standards which are cross-referred in Serial 55. So anyway, for Serial 55, there is no normative references. And then the third clause is on terms and definition. This is to make it easier for the users of the document to understand or be on the same page with regards to some of the terms and its definitions when you are going through the main body of the standard. So for say 55 under clause 3 terms and definition, we have listed around 21 terms and the definitions. Okay, so clause 1 to 3 is just the background. When it comes to meeting the requirements of Serial 55, it starts from clause 4 until clause 8. Okay, so I will go through with you briefly what is the expectation of each of the clauses. So for clause 4, the title is Context of Organization. So here in Serial 50, the scope of the ESG management system application, we allow the users of the standard to determine the boundary or the scope whereby you would like to implement or start off implementing your ESG management system. So this is kind of like user friendly if as an organization you have many branches throughout the country. So maybe you want to start with your HQ first, then slower over time, once you get a rope on how to do ESG management system, then you can expand to the other states. Even at your HQ also, you can even maybe break down. Maybe you are in your organization, you are producing 3 types of products. Maybe you can focus on product A first and then slowly move on to product B and product C. So it allows you to determine your scope of your ESG management system application. Next, under this clause, it also requires the organization to determine what are your needs and expectations of your interested parties. So your needs and expectations are the issues. So your needs and expectation could be with your internal stakeholders, which are your employees. Your external stakeholders will be your supply chain, your customers, or even your community where you reside in. And then interested parties would be the government agencies, regulators, or NGOs, non-governmental organization could come under interested parties. So that's why it's important when you do or embark on this exercise towards implementation of ESG management systems, you need to have a stakeholder engagement. If you do not have the stakeholder engagement, you might be backing up the wrong tree. So only if you have the stakeholder engagement, you can ensure that whatever the needs, the issues, or the expectation of the stakeholder, both internal and external, needs are being attended to. So it is like something like if you have rubbish in, you get rubbish out. So this is quite critical that you ensure that you have the right, accurate, appropriate issues identified. Okay, and then compliance obligation is your law, rules, and regulations. With regards to environmental, you have EQA on your schedule waste, your industrial effluent, so on and so forth. On social will be on Employee Act, your Occupational Safety Act, and things like that. So that is compliance obligations because those are mandatory that you need to comply to. And then your risk assessment. So once you have done your needs and expectations of your internal, external, and interested parties, then you can go towards stipulating what is your action what are your risks and what is the action plan. Then from the action plan, you might come across some opportunities for improvement. And then management of change. This is with regards to manage change in your management, the responsibility or authorities. So what these two can have risk or impact your organization. So you have to cater for management of change. That's clause 4. Clause 5 is on leadership. So here we are talking about your top management, the responsibility, the commitment of your top management. Then your top management's accountability with regards to environmental, social, and governance implementation within your organization. You have to get the top-down commitment, then only it works. And then what is your policy in place with regards to what is your policy on environmental, what is your policy on social and governance. And then from these policies, you will use it as a framework to develop your objectives. And then roles, responsibilities, and authorities to carry out this ESG management system. Clause 6 is on operation. So here you have the objectives and action plans. So objectives will come from your policy. Your action plan will be from your risk assessment. And then you have to carry out monitoring to ensure that it is whatever you have implemented is working as you expect. And then you have to do evaluation. And then clause 7 is support. So this is, we are talking about the man, the money, the machinery, the infrastructure. So you have to ensure that you have the competent people to carry out this activity. And then communication. Communication is the one that where you need to communicate what are the ESG data that you have compiled based on your issues that you or the factors that you have identified, and then your documentation information. It can be either procedures or records. And then the last clause is on improvement. Then as usual in any management system, you have to do this internal audit to ensure that everything is as per the standard, Serial 55, as per your procedures, as per your policies, and have management review. So here you get the involvement of your top management to participate in this activity. Okay. So once an organization has gone through the clauses 4 right up to clause 8, and you have completed all the requirements as stipulated in these 4 clauses, then the next phase will be on the reporting. So you can proceed with the sustainability reporting and continue with your sustainable development. So the outcome portion of it is not part and parcel but of the Serial 55, but this you can proceed with that outcome once you have met all the requirement clauses from clause 4 to clause 8 of this standard. Okay, now the next standard that I would like to share with you all is Serial 50, Social Accountability Requirements. So as I mentioned, this standard is based on ISO 26000 on social responsibility and also SA 8000 on social accountability. So both of these standards is being used as reference, and we have came out with the requirements that is suited for the Malaysian industries. So the scope of this document is it covers a wide range. It is applicable to all or any organization regardless of its type or size or geographic location or even the industry sector. So any organization that can meet the requirements of Serial 50, you are automatically meeting or supporting the Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which is on decent work and economic growth. The mission of SDG 8 is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. So the standard Series 50 under the requirement clause has these 8 elements that need to be complied with. So the first is on child labour, shall not engage or support child labour. So according to the Employment Act in Malaysia, any person below the age of 15 years is considered a child. Forced or compulsory labour shall not force your employees to continue working for an organisation. Here is where an organisation, like especially for foreign workers, you are holding on to their passport, to their contractual agreement. So they are not, without these important documents, they are forced to continue working for your organisation because they are not able to leave your organisation and go elsewhere. So that is against human rights, forced or compulsory labour. Health and safety is shall provide a safe and healthy workplace. Even if you are, especially for foreign workers, if you are providing accommodation also, you have to ensure that that place is also safe for your workers to live in. Aside from providing PPE to your employees during their day-to-day job at your organisation. Freedom of association and right to collective bargaining. You should allow your employees representation in any organisation of their choosing. So this is by having a trade union in your organisation, your employees union, so that they as a whole can have some kind of collective bargaining with regards to issues related to wages or working hours, and they can use this means to communicate with the top management or the top with the organisation to allow for this kind of aspect to be carried out in your organisation. So that is freedom of association or right to collective bargaining. Discrimination shall not engage or support discrimination. So this is basically there shouldn't be any discrimination with regards to gender, male or female, with regards to race, religion or physical disability. Disciplinary practices shall treat all personnel with dignity. Working hours shall comply with standards working hours. So most importantly with the Employment Act 9 on terms of working hours. And living wages shall respect the right to a minimum wage. So in Malaysia, minimum wage is set at 1,500 ringgit. So another aspect of social is that the organisation should also have a grievance mechanism. So grievance mechanism with regards to issues related to sexual harassment or unfairness at the workplace or even on contractual disputes. So it is also something unique with regards to social aspect the grievances. So for all of the 8 core elements as listed above, need to first and foremost comply with the relevant national policies, laws, rules and regulations of the country. So in this standard Series 50, we have an Annex A, which is informative. What we have done is we have done a mapping of all these 8 requirements, as you can see here, against the relevant law, rules and regulations that caters for each of these 8 elements. But of course, it is under Annex Informative, not normative, because this can change as time goes. Like, as you know, the Employment Act was revised early of this year, 2023. So therefore, that's why that annex is just an informative annex, but it is a very good guidance for those who want, for those organizations who like to start off on embarking towards being more socially responsible. Okay, as for benefits of ESG, ESG can help to booster the bottom line. So when you are looking at the issues, the internal and external and also issues of your interested parties. You are also making sure that your bottom line is boosted. So over time, you are more sustainable. Your organization will be more sustainable and versatile, whether it's short term, medium term, or long term. ESG assists organization to operate in a sustainable and reasonable manner. ESG promotes identification of organizational impact. So you are already doing the risk assessment. You are being proactive and not reactive. ESG establishes trust among your stakeholders and also shareholders. And ESG stimulates innovation, especially when you are doing the action plan for your risk assessment. You may come across some improvements that or opportunities for improvement, which are your which can stimulate innovation and also at the same time attract talents. So as a conclusion, ESG is not new and it is here to stay. ESG is based on non-financial factors and ESG is a subset of sustainability. So thank you for your kind attention.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Nageswari. So some of the participants are leaving for another meeting, I guess. So for those who are, but that's okay. We're extended a bit of time here, but that's okay. So I'm opening for a Q&A session for all of the participants. So if you have any question, you may ask Ms. Nageswari here. Sure. So I will be sharing the slides after this. So for those who are still not fill up the attendance form, please kindly fill up and make sure your email address is correct so that I can email to you guys the slides after this to all attendees. And then I'm opening for Q&A session now. So if you have any question or related to ESG topic today, you may raise the question now. Ms. Nageswari will answer your question accordingly. It's just a short Q&A session. Otherwise, we'll be Otherwise, we will be opening up like a quiz so that we may know that you guys understand the topic for today. So, any question from any participants? So we have one question from Chu Angeline. It says, thanks for the informative talk. Can I know how many companies certified under Series 50 and Series 55?
Okay. As of now, for Series 50, they are not they have not gone for certification, but basically they are using the document as a reference document because you see standards by nature are voluntary. So the same goes for certification. It's not mandated. It is voluntary. So it's up to the organization whether they want to proclaim they are in compliance to a particular standard, they go for certification. Otherwise, the standards can be used as reference document. Whereas for Series 55, as of now, actually we have sold quite a lot of that standard document because it's also first of its kind in Malaysia. Because most of the documents that you have out there, they are talking about the tail end, which is the reporting or the ESG disclosure. But many of the industries within Malaysia, they are having problem in the how to implement. Even if they don't know how to implement, how are they to go and report? So that is one of the reasons why SIRIM took the initiative to develop SIRIM 55. So again, the document is not a national document. You have to understand SIRIM industry standard is not a national document. It is not a Malaysian standard. It is an organization standard, the SIRIM's standard. So most of this, just like any other standards out there, even ISO 9001 or 14001, if you are talking about it, all standards by nature are voluntary documents. So it is not mandated that you need to go for certification. But I believe many industries there have purchased these documents that we have published. For now, they are using it as a reference document. I hope I
All
answered
right.
the question.
I hope that answers Ms. Chu Angeline's question. So thank you very much, Ms. Agiswari, for the answer. And then we have second question from Christopher. So basically, Christopher wants to ask if it's possible to do product carbon footprint or for food or for feed additives.
Can. Because when we do carbon footprint, we have the carbon footprint product, the PCR document. So at this moment, we have published 20 documents. But you can approach Environmental Technology Research Center. They can generate a report based on life cycle assessment of your food, and they can do the cradle to grave or cradle to gate. Because for carbon footprint, there is a system boundary. So it's up to the applicant to determine which system boundary they want the report to be based on. That means the life cycle assessment to be based on. So they need to determine whether it is from cradle to gate, gate to gate, or cradle to grave. But our site, this Environmental Technology Research Center, can do that.
Okay. All right. Great. I hope that answers Mrs. Christopher's answer. Mrs. Christopher, if it's answered your question, maybe you can give us a thumbs up. You can react to it. All right. We also have a question from our HR, which is, I'm not sure which company is this, but do we need a certification for this if my company plan to do ESG?
No. The important thing is to communicate. That means your disclosure. When it comes to ESG, we are talking about your reporting. You can have integrated reporting, or you can have a report by itself. So basically, you can many companies, they practice integrating reporting, where they have their annual report on their financial status. Inside that annual report, they integrate what are their activities related to environmental, social, or governance, or even on sustainability matter. So it is at this moment, that's not mandated for any type of certification. You can, if you want to, it's up to you. If you want to go for certification, if you don't, it's also okay. It's not mandated.
Okay, great. So we also have a question from Mr. or Miss Chengi. How can we obtain the Cerium 50 and Cerium 55 standards?
Oh, okay. You can, sorry, I didn't put one slide. You can purchase it from our Cerium standard store. Maybe I can provide the information later to Puan Nadia, because we sell it, you can purchase it online. We have a URL where you can go directly to our Cerium standard store and purchase these two documents for yourself lah. I can provide the URL later to Puan Nadia.
Okay, sure, no problem. That URL maybe I can share with you guys together in the email, together with the slide as well. Okay, great. So we have another question from HR. I'm not sure which company. If company is under warehouse and retails, no apply any Cerium, still need to go for this ESG?
It depends. Because if you are in a supply chain, whether it's I think retailers will be downstream, right? So if you are in the supply chain of a public listed company, then it is mandated by Pusat Saham that public listed companies disclose their carbon emission, their employment category based on gender, and what some of the things that I have shown you in my slide. So it is mandated by Bursa Saham for their public listed company. And as a public listed company, their scope 3 will depend on their supply chain. So if you are organization in that supply chain, especially retailers and wholesalers, you are on the downstream, then your scope 1 and scope 2 will be their scope 3 data. So depending, if there is a push factor from your clients or your customers which you are dealing with, then you need to, whether you like it or not, is an indirectly you need to provide those data. But if there's none, then it's okay. Because even supply chain also it depends, because to my understanding for supply chain they have tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. So I think the one that is closest to the public listed company need to submit those data lah. How they, not only on their greenhouse gas emission, also on other aspects on how they, with regards to social, how they treat their employees, how they treat their communities where they are located in, and also on governance aspect, how transparent are they, how what are their internal processes that they have in place. Because you see, when we talk about ISO 9001 or ISO 14001 in the past, this is only tailored to that specific organization. So organization A get themselves certified, for example, if they want to get themselves certified to ISO 14001, but they might be doing business with their suppliers who is not even certified ISO 9001. It's okay. But when you talk about ESG, it encompasses everything. So it's a very holistic. So the supply chain, you have to also, you can't say that you are ESG compliant when you are buying from somebody who is not practicing ESG. So it is considered greenwashing lah. So it depends. If it's required, then you need to go for it. But if you are not required, then you can wait and see lah.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Nageswari. So I hope that answers your question, Miss HR. Okay, we have another comment here from FHSB and SH. I'm not sure who's that is. Okay, ESG is not just a buzzword, but it's a critical consideration for our future. Thank you, Miss Nageswari. So it's very good. Yep. It's very good for long-term sustainability of a organization or a company.
Yeah, and
Okay,
also
so we
to
have-
save to save the planet Earth, we only have one planet, so we cannot get. We have to follow the Paris Agreement. We cannot get our temperature. We have to ensure that our temperature is below 2 degrees Celsius. If not, all hell break loose.
Yes,
Because we might be even submerged underwater if we don't.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That's basically true. So
Yeah.
we have another question from Dini R. Hayani.
Yes,
Our company plan implement sustainability for all of our plant by next year. Is our company compulsory or required to have a management system for this?
That's why I'm saying when it comes to ESG, they are not. It is not focusing on management system activities. It is more on the tail end, the reporting. So how you come to your report, that is dependent on your organization. But the good practices is, for example, if you don't go for management system also, it's okay. The good practices is you have to have stakeholder engagement. That means you have to get inputs from your employees and your external stakeholders. Then you have to do the materiality assessment, which is what matters to your organization. So when you do the mapping, you draw the chart, your internal, external, and you chart. And then where does there is a common consensus between your internal, external stakeholders, what are the ESG criteria that both these parties highlighted as their main concern. So that is the area that you need to prioritize. So whether you have a management system standard in place or not, it doesn't matter. But of course, if you have a management system standard, you are already halfway there. Maybe not all the way there, not 80% there, but maybe at least 20-30% you are there, because you have some kind of system, internal process implemented in your organization. And then you also have to bear in mind, when we talk about ISO standard, like all the management systems standard that we have, like for example, the scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3 is not stipulated in your ISO 14001. It is stipulated in GHG protocol. So by meeting the requirements of your ISO management system standards, it is not sufficient. There is still some gaps between meeting the requirements of your management system and also being compliant to your ESG practices. And then the other thing is like your supply chain, the risk and all these aspects. If say your supply chain is not certified to a management system standard, but they can prove that they have activities related to environmental stewardship, their relationship with regards to social aspect, their good governance, you can still use that to as an objective evidence that they are to some extent comply to ESG as practices. So it's very wide. It's very wide. Doesn't mean just because a company certified to 14001, they are compliant to the environmental aspect. There are other aspects. I hope I'm not confusing you all, but it's very huge.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the answers. Hope that answers your question, Ms. Dini. Okay, we have another question from Wu Li Kian. Where can we get a Malaysian living wage report for ESG?
Malaysian living wage. That means in what terms? I don't understand. That means what? The salary or what about the Employment Act? I think inside there they have stipulated on working hours, wages and all that.
Living
if I'm not
wage
mistaken.
report for ESG. I see. Okay, that's okay, Mr. Wood. Miss or Mr. Wood, if you can elaborate on your question. Maybe you can open your mic. It's okay if you guys want to ask question by opening your mic. I'm not restricted everyone to mute. That's okay. Okay, we have another question from Sweeping Lu. As a start towards ESG initiative, what is suggested initial stage or plans that companies can implement which can significantly encourage the continuity on the following stages? For example, wholesale and retail industry.
I think for you to embark on your ESG management, you have to get the buy-in from your top management. If you are a company with a board, you have your shareholders, you have to get the ESG movement from them. So once they have the buy-in, they have the insight on that they really want to go all out for implementing ESG, then you can have a much easier pathway towards implementing ESG in your organization. So it has to come from top down. Because if you don't have the buy-in, then it will be difficult because you need to have the resources in terms of financial, in terms of manpower, in terms of equipment, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. So you have to have the top-down commitment. Okay. Hello. Senyapkan. Nadia, I think you're on mute.
I'm so sorry. Hope that answers your question, Mr. or Miss Sweeping Lu. So we have another question from Miss Liu Yeki. Is there a plan to promote Serial 55 to MS national standard?
At this moment, there is none, but maybe our Sirim is looking into it lah. If there is a possibility of upgrading the status of it to a national document.
Great. Another question from Miss Chu Angeline. How long is the estimated time and how challenging it is to implement Serial 50 versus Serial 55? I am assuming Serial 55 will take a longer time since it's more encompassing, since it has environment and governance element.
Okay. The Serial 55, it is the content or the requirements is the with regards to PDCA cycle. That means it has what you need to plan, what you need to do, what you need to track, and what you need to add. But it's open as to what kind of documents that you want to make reference to. So it doesn't really say that for social you have to use Serial 50. You can even use SA 8000 if you can meet the requirements. So the Serial 55 is just kind of like the planning stage. And then it's the skeleton of it. So the flesh you need to determine on your own lah. What are the reference document or what are the procedures you want to have in place to meet the infrastructure or the framework of that standard. So it actually, the scope of the document actually tells you how to start with the task of getting a management system related to environmental, social and governance. Whereas Serial 55 has narrowed down. In terms of social, these are the things you need to do. So it is more focused. You do A, B, C, D. Okay? So it's focused. Whereas the 55 is more open-ended.
Hope that answers your question, Miss Angeline. So we received so much questions, so it's very good to answer this question ahead for Miss Nagia. Sorry, thank you very much for the answers. And then so we're going to take about 2 minutes to promote our NHCCE event will be held on October 30th and 31st October. So Mr. Faiz, if you are here, maybe you can share your screen. So we take about 2 minutes of your time for this.
All right, thank you, Nadia. So everyone can see my slides. All right, great. Okay, I'm Faiz, so I'm here to invite everyone to join us our greatest HR conference in Malaysia, National Human Capital Conference Exhibition. As you're aware, the exhibition is our flagship event to bring together a global community, forward think tanker. Also, we gather the great speakers for this year. We covered 5 pillars: technology and information. We covered on the leadership and growth, motivations and well-being, learning and developments, and also dynamic workforce and future workplace. So, so the key highlights for this year, we listened and learned from the well-known HR specialists, and also we encourage everyone to join to network and engage with all the industry experts from the HR development industry. And also, it is time to you to shape and nurture your future-ready global competitive workforce. So, for this year, we target around 3,500 delegates to registered in our conference, and we have 400 reputable exhibitors that opens during that event. Okay, and we have esteemed plenary speakers from the overseas. We have Mr. Dave Aldrich, the father of modern HR, and also we have the master storyteller and world-class thought leader from the ERIC, and also the Dr. Justin Cohen, the international keynote speaker. He is the global speaker and also the best-seller author. Okay, and also we have great speakers from the international and also from the local to share their thought about the technology, about the leadership, about the motivation and well-being, about the learning culture and landscape, and also about the dynamic workforce and the future workplace. Okay, so register now. Here's the conference package. We have still have promotions, a special rate available for those interested to join the conference. And you can scan the QR code for registration. For more information, you can register and visit to our website at hrdcorp.gov.my/nhcce. All right. Never mind. I will share the slide after this for those interested to join our conference. And I welcome all of you to join this our greatest conference. So join us the upcoming National Human Capital Conference and Exhibition 2023. We call you from all the HR practitioners across the industry, C-suite members and industry leaders from any L&D practitioners, talent management, talent acquisitions and recruitment, talent analytics, and also from the inclusion executive and also HR trainers. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully you can join our national conference. Thank you so much. I pass to you, Nadia Arina.
All right, great. Thank you very much for the sharing, Mr. Faiz. So we also open for free visitors and also for our conference. So Mr. Rutish, maybe you can share a little bit about this.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Rutish. I'm the Stakeholder Engagement Officer. So I'm going to do a bit of a sharing on the visitors invitation, visitors registration for the upcoming conference, which my colleague Mr. Faiz was explaining to you all. Just allow me to share the PowerPoint first. Give me a moment now. Siapa yang ngomong? Betul guys. Jadi
Itu ini akan terkait dengan apa? Sebenarnya bisa dengan juga istilah dan istilah itu. Teman saya support just continue. Is good. Sure. The meaning of the children young people. This is a little bit social. What someone that's yes. Think is that it's memorize.
Nadia, is it visible? The slides visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to proceed. So basically what my colleague has been explaining to you all is the speakers and what are the exciting things that you're going to be getting to see when you join the conference as a delegate. Delegate meaning you will have to purchase the ticket to become a delegate. Now what am I going to explain is how are you going to attend the conference as a visitor. Visitor meaning you will not be entitled to enter the conference hall, meaning you will not be attending the forums, the discussions, the speakers. You will not be allowed to enter the conference hall. However, anda boleh masuk ke dalam hall exhibition. You can enter all the other booths and other exciting activities. So basically, visitors, you will not be charged a single cent pun. Maksudnya percuma saja, tak perlu bayar apa-apa. Okay, so I'll explain what are the benefits you're going to gain as a visitor. Okay, So first of all, as you can see, we have a career fair, a mini career fair whereby we're going to have My Future Jobs, we're going to have Talent Corp, and we're also connecting with Job Street. Apart from that, kita akan ada lebih kurang 400 employers who will be opening their booths there, and we have open interviews. We have a resume guidance. Maksudnya siapa-siapa yang nak, you all are looking for a different opportunity. You want to know what's the market salary for your designation, for your position. So you're welcome to come here. And kepada viewers, and if you have any, say anak-anak buah ke, anak awak sendiri ke, you want for exposure purpose, you can bring them here because it's free. Next is PWD. PWD meaning persons with disability. Okay. For example, I'm not sure berapa orang tahu yang Speedmart, the owner of Speedmart is actually a person who's bound on wheelchair. Maksudnya dia is a person with disability lah. So kita akan bawa such personalities untuk attend session and then give a briefing. What are the struggles they went through and how did they become successful? Okay, we have sessions for PWD. Yang ketiga pula kita ada gig business. Gig business maksudnya freelancers, Grab drivers, food panda riders, can be a freelance editor. These kind of people, what are the options are there for them? Apakah perkembangan yang mereka boleh dapat dalam dekat Malaysia, what are the options they have? How do they grow? So we'll have a segment just for that. Okay. Next, kita ada mother boot activities. We'll have about 400 booths macam cakap, and we'll have a mother boot whereby we'll conduct a lot of quizzes, a lot of lucky draw prizes. We'll have a lot of segments of speech. Tapi ini bukan speech yang colleague saya cerita tadi lah. These are different speakers. Some are influencers, some are celebrities. So we have that segment, and we'll have a HRD Corp advisory booth. Siapa-siapa yang ada, you want to know about your grants, nak tahu macam nak apply grant, nak tahu macam nak look for training providers, you can come there. And finally, we'll have business matching session. Session ni a bit exciting. We'll have training providers dekat sana yang akan offer their courses untuk mega discounted price. So employers yang attend, yang ada dekat sana, you can sign up straight for a very very cheap price. Maksudnya levy yang you terkumpul tu, you tak payah guna banyak. You just use a bit and you can sign up for their courses. So all this is free. Tak perlu buat apa-apa bayaran. And I would like to request all the viewers untuk ambil gambar QR code ni. Do me a favor, take picture of this QR code. Please do share it with your anak-anak buah dekat office. You can share with your family members, you can share with your friends, and request them to join. Sebab although this is free, tanpa registration, tanpa pendaftaran, you will not be able to attend. You will not be allowed to enter the hall. So please do take a picture of the QR code, register, and you can check dekat your email, you will receive a e-ticket. Nanti masa datang tu bawa e-ticket tu. Okay, so that's all from me. I hope everyone can understand. I'll request Puan Nadia untuk share slide sekali lah. Alright, terima kasih.
Alright, thank you very much, Mr. Rute. So, lastly, I'm going to give you guys like a link for a feedback form. So maybe you guys can give us a feedback in the link below. I put it in the chat box. So you guys can give us a feedback about this session and what are the session that you guys are looking forward to in the future. If you guys want to do a collaboration with us, also can just drop us like a comment in the feedback form. Okay, and also last and but not least, can I request everyone to open up your camera so that we can take a picture together? Let's take a picture together. Ritesh, you can close down your slide. It's okay yang tak ada kamera tu. Ritesh, please close down your slide. I want to take picture. Okay, so you guys ready? I'm taking picture now. Everyone opening your screen. Let's take a picture, a good picture for everybody, so that I can put this in LinkedIn. You guys can see your little. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, smile, everyone. Oh, wait, one moment. I'm taking another one because my face is a little bit awkward. Okay, get ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed the session. And if you guys have any more questions, you can always ask us in the chat box. And then I will share you the slides of the email and also some of the important information we'll be sharing through the email. And some of you, if you are not fill up the attendance list, you can fill up and make sure your email is correct. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Hope you guys having a good day today, and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Nadia.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.